everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Sharon, and this is a channel that is dedicated to all things related to narcissism. I'm going to share with you one of the scarier things that happened when I was still with my ex. So this was a few years ago, before my kids had the ability to drive, so before they had licenses. And my kids we were part of a church, and they were going to go to a youth group event one night that ended at midnight. So it was a big thing, a fun thing for the kids. Well, my ex knew that the kids were supposed to go to this. And at this point in the marriage, my ex, I'm going to tell you, I think he was legit psychotic at this point. He was just going crazy. He was in and out of the house. He was partly living in his car, partly at the house. He wouldn't speak to me. He wouldn't talk to the kids. He would just come home and go in the basement. He would be drinking heavily. There'd be days at a time he wouldn't come home, or he would come home and start crying and tell me how bad he was and how bad he felt. And then he'd be gone again. And it was just constant stress, mayhem, or he'd be sitting there in a chair, just in a catatonic state, staring at the wall. It was absolutely terrifying and horrible in every single way. Well, this one particular night, he didn't come home. And as time started getting closer to midnight when I had to leave the house, I started to get very afraid that when I left, he was going to come back to the house, sneak in and hide somewhere in the house. So after I got the kids, I got home and I couldn't bring them into the house. I couldn't let them go into the house when I believed that there was a chance that their father was there. And if he was hiding somewhere in the house, he wasn't doing that for any good purpose. So I locked the kids in the car and I went in the house and I told them I needed to search the house before we could go in. So I'm in the house and I'm looking around. It was terrifying. I'm in the basement, and this is in the middle of the night. I'm in the basement, I'm in the attic, looking around for my husband, seeing if he's hiding somewhere. It was horrible. So he wasn't, so the kids got in the house, but this was the type of thing that I was dealing with, that I was living with, and it was horrible. And at that point, something was going to happen. It couldn't not. It was too much had already happened. It was a powder keg. It was going to explode. I feel exactly the same way right now in our world. I feel like it is just something is going to happen. There is just the level of crazy in our world, the level of evil. It's gotten to the point where, at any time in my life, I would have told you that I believed in God. But there's a difference, to me anyways, between telling you I believe in God and for real believing every single thing that the Bible says, that there are demons scouring this earth, that the devil really is like a roaring lion looking around for you. Because imagine if that was true. Imagine if you found out that in your neighborhood there was a wild lion roaming around the neighborhood. You wouldn't be outside. You wouldn't be letting your kids play outside. But that's what the Bible tells us. And for me, for sure, I don't think of that. But I'm beginning to see it now. I'm beginning to see just the cruelty. I mean, I lived with it, and I'm sitting here. Of course it exists. I know it exists because I've seen it firsthand. But it seems like there's a difference between, say, a narcissist or Jeffrey Dahmer, or, an isolated person, right? My husband or your wife or whoever it is, It seems like there's a difference between that, and they're everywhere. They're everywhere. Derek Prince, if those of you who don't know, Derek Prince, he was a pastor. He passed away over 20 years ago now, but if you don't know him, I highly recommend looking him up. He has some amazing videos on YouTube. He got me through some of the worst times of my life, listening to his soothing voice at nighttime when I couldn't sleep. He's amazing. But what he always says about demons is that they're persons without bodies. So they're looking for something to inhabit because they have their vice, what they want to do, right? And there's different spirits, spirits of anger, or spirits of jealousy, or spirits of gluttony, or whatever, alcoholism, spirits, whatever it is, that they all have what they want, but they're working against God to harm humanity. And then just Joe and I have been spending way too much time going down these rabbit holes, because at the same time, and probably part of the reason I'm feeling just this something's going to blow in our world. Like I feel like we are at a bad place. Learning the truth about so many things. I feel like without telling you, okay, I've changed my mind on this, or I've learned about, X, Y, and Z, it's easier just to say it this way. And there's is not an exaggeration when I say this, and it's crazy. Everything that I believe to be true and real is not. The level of deception I think we have been fed in our world by the government, by everybody, and it is outrageous. So I'm trying now to learn more so to listen to my gut, or to feel my gut. And because there's so many things that I believed in my life, just instinctively believed or knew, that I was told that's wrong, you can't feel that way, or you're not going to be able to live that way, or that can't work, and now in retrospect it was the right thing. So I'm trying to kind of go with my gut, and I'm feeling this so strongly. Joe's feeling this so strongly. He thinks that our world is experiencing a spiritual awakening. I hope that's true, but it's terrifying to think that there's just this evil all around us. And there is. I mean, I can see it. I can see it everywhere. I cannot believe the level of crazy in our society, and just the deadness in people as well. Even just going to a store, you just go to a store, people are so unpleasant. And don't go to fast food restaurants. In the past, I can't stand fast food, but Joe is a fast food junkie, so I'm trying to get on him about this, not eating at fast food restaurants. But you go there, and the people that work there are so rude. I mean, I've been not to fast food restaurants, but other stores where people won't even say a word to you. Like, I'm literally at the checkout. They don't tell me how much it is, nothing. I have to just look and just pay the credit card, and then, looking at their phone while they're distractedly handing you the receipt. That's the level of our world today. And then just the craziness that's happening, the lies that we're experiencing. Nothing seems real. You just cannot believe anything that you see. I feel like I'm a huge Arthur Rimbaud fan. He's a French poet from the 1800s. And he had a line in one of his poems where he says something about how he was so beat up and dead to the world that people he saw might not even have seen him. So, basically he's walking around and people might not even see him. I feel like that's kind of how our world is, right? There's no goodness in our world anymore. It's just evil walking around. I don't know. I see it everywhere. I feel it so strongly, and it makes me afraid. I'm afraid for our future. And then it's also equally as fearful to picture, what if it's so bad that Jesus comes? I know that's supposed to be a positive thing, but that's terrifying that these horrible things could happen to our world. I don't know. Joe and I are feeling this to the point where we're actually going to be moving, hopefully next year, to the country. We don't live in the city, we live in the suburbs, but it's not a country suburb place, it's more cityish. So we're feeling this so strongly, we feel compelled to get out. Like, I feel like we need to start bunkering down. And that's a horrible thing to say. It's terrifying, but I really believe that there is just nothing good is happening in our world right now. And it's time to start getting right with Jesus. And that's just it's a horrifying, terrifying thing to say, but let me know. Do you agree? Do you feel this way too? Maybe Joe and I are just going through a midlife crisis, but I really do think that this is true. Because even if you go into things like so many of us have experienced, I always would tell Joe, it's always different for Joe with his divorce, because his ex, he has a female narcissist. I never want to take ownership of a narcissist. His ex is a female, and it's so unusual for a woman not to have motherly feelings. Like, I know it happens, of course, but I feel like it's more natural for the woman to be with the kids and the father to move away. And that's what I experienced. And so for me, it's crazy to me. And that's part of just today's world, that there can be women like that just can walk away from their own kids, that don't, because I think that with an ex, how can he live and not know if the kids are okay? Are they okay? Are they happy? Are they safe? Do they have what they need? Do they need anything? Or not even think, oh my gosh, like I really should be doing something. I'm the father. I should make sure that they're okay. Or holy moly, like, but never, none of that. And it just, so many of us have experienced this. And if people feel this way about their own families, how are they going to feel towards strangers? And this is the world that we live in. It's a really scary time. I don't know what it is. Something has happened. I feel it. And it's been particularly this year. And I feel blessed that I'm awake, because I don't want to walk around brain dead. But at the same time, there's a level of confusion that is intimidating. So thank God Joe's with me and he feels the way that I do. But I would like to know what you guys think. Do you feel this way too? Are you feeling this? Please tell me. Are we in the middle of something that's about to blow? Or maybe not. Hopefully not. I don't know. I know someone, he's passed on now, unfortunately, but he used to say, he died when he was 70, and he said ever since he was a little boy, people used to tell him that the economy was going to crash, but it just keeps chugging along. So is that what this is? Is he going to keep chugging along and, I'll just feel this way, but nothing happens? Or are we really on the verge of something catastrophic? So let me know. I'd love to hear what you guys have to think. I hope everyone has a great day, great weekend, and I will see you next week.